Land Appreciation Stories, Then versus Now. Episode 4, Greater Noida and Noida Extension. Have you ever imagined how farmland once sold out just for a few hundred rupees per square meter turned into one of Delhi NCR's hottest real estate corridors? Welcome back to Landopedia, where we talk about all things land minus the boring. In today's episode, we're diving into one of India's most dramatic land transformation stories, Greater Noida and Noida Extension. We'll go back 2 decades to see how these regions evolved from agricultural belts to bustling real estate gold mines. What drove that growth, what lessons investors can learn, and where the next big opportunities might be hiding. Part 1. Then, the early 2000s landscape. Back in the early 2000s, Greater Noida and Noida Extension were far from what we see today. There were more tractors than cars, more wheat fields than high-rises. This was land primarily used for agriculture. Small villages, narrow single-lane roads, and limited connectivity. Even though Noida city had started to gain traction, Greater Noida was still too far, too quiet, and too risky in most investors' minds. You could buy land here for 300 to 600 rupees per square meter. That's less than what a cup of coffee costs per square foot today. People saw these areas as outsiders' land, too remote for comfort, too uncertain for investment. But what most people didn't realize was that government had already set the foundation for something huge. Part 2. The turning point. Infrastructure and planning boom. The real shift began when the Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority (GNIDA) and Noida Authority laid out a master plan that connected these regions with Delhi and the NCR belt. Then came the Yamuna Expressway, Greater Noida Expressway, and later the Metro Extension. This wasn't just about convenience, it was about unlocking accessibility. The moment a region became accessible, investors start circling. The IT and industrial policies in the mid-2000s brought companies, warehouses, and institutions into the mix. Suddenly, Greater Noida wasn't just farmland, it was the future city land. New sectors were carved out: Tech Zone, Knowledge Park, Delta, Alpha, each designed with planned roads, utilities, and zoning in mind. Developers like Gorsons, ATS, Supertech, and Panchsheel saw the potential early and began large-scale residential and commercial projects. Part 3. Noida Extension, the game changer. Around 2010, a new name started buzzing, Noida Extension, which was technically part of Greater Noida West, but branded differently to attract buyers from Noida and Ghaziabad. Noida Extension became the middle-class dream market. Affordable plots, promises of connectivity, and access to Delhi, all at prices nearly 40% lower than Noida city. Metro connectivity extended, schools and hospitals came up, and soon the farmland identity was completely replaced by a skyline. Part 4. Today, from fields to high-rises. Fast forward to 2025. Greater Noida and Noida Extension look nothing like they did 20 years ago. You've got IT hubs, universities, Formula One tracks, malls, expressways, and some of NCR's biggest housing townships. Commercial spaces are booming, and residential demand continues to grow thanks to metro expansion, industrial corridors, and Noida's new international airport in Jawar, which is expected to be the single biggest trigger for the next wave of appreciation. So yes, the people who took the risk back then, they didn't just buy land, they bought time, and time rewarded them. Part 5. The growth drivers. Let's break down what exactly drove this massive transformation. First, infrastructure first policy. Expressways, metro lines, and wide arterial roads. These weren't afterthoughts, they were the foundation. 2. Proactive planning. Greater Noida Authority followed a grid system. Planned plots, drainage, green belts. Investors trusted that. 3. Industrial and IT ecosystems. Tech zones, universities, and warehousing hubs created jobs. And where jobs go, housing follows. 4. Affordability factor. Noida Extension allowed middle-income buyers to enter NCR's property market. That created massive demand. Part 5. The Jawar Airport effect. With the airport nearing completion, nearby land parcels have already appreciated 2 to 3x in the last 5 years. And that's just phase 1. Each of these factors didn't just add value, they multiplied it. That's how farmland becomes fortune land. Part 6. Lessons for future investors. So, what can we learn from the Greater Noida story? 1. Follow infrastructure, not hype. Where the government builds roads, real estate follows. 2. Look for planned authority projects. Areas under GNIDA, YEIDA, HMDA, or PMRDA tend to appreciate better because of structured growth. 3. Buy early but buy wisely. Early stage investments give the best returns, but Always cross-check builder reputation, their approvals, and land titles. 4. Stay patient. Land is a long game. It doesn't double in a year, it transforms over a decade. 5. Watch for the airport, metro, and industrial triangle. That's your 10-year gold mine. Greater Noida and Noida Extension stand as perfect examples of how vision, planning, and patience can turn agricultural land into multi-crore real estate. For early investors, it's a story of faith paying off. For future investors, it's a map of what to look for next. This is Sachit signing off from Landopedia. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, share it with someone planning to invest in NCR, and subscribe for more land appreciation stories from across India.